What's up, guys? I'm back with another movie review. Today I'm here to talk to you about one from 20th Century Fox. It is Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. I love this movie. I highly recommend it. So if you don't want to hear any kind, I'm not going to give any spoilers, but if you just don't want to hear anything at all about the movie, it's highly recommended. You should definitely check it out while you can, while it's at theaters. The movie itself is about a woman named Mildred, played by Frances McDormand, and she lost her daughter, who was raped and murdered several months ago, and there's been no movement on the case whatsoever, no leads, no suspects, no arrests, and she's just kind of had it. She's reached a kind of breaking point with it, and so she rents out these three billboards that are on this like small, out-of-the-way rural road that just kind of call out the police and say, hey, my daughter was killed, and there's been no arrests, and then she calls out the local police chief, Willoughby, who's played by Woody Harrelson, and just kind of says, hey, what's going on? Why is there no progress on my daughter's, my daughter's murder case? So of course this essentially lights a fuse on a huge powder keg of just a firestorm of emotion and hatred and violence and revenge, and it just completely spirals out of control. Woody Harrelson comes around to kind of give his story, his side of the case of why things haven't progressed and how it's not because he doesn't want to solve it, but that he can't. There's just nothing there. There's no leads, and he also reveals that he's dying of cancer. So of course the town knows that he's dying, and it doesn't sit well that this lady is calling him out, in his dying days. There's a deputy named Dixon, and he's played by Sam Rockwell. And he's kind of a real scumbag, just kind of a trashy dude, racist, sexist, you name it. And he's basically made it his mission to do whatever it's going to take to get these billboards taken down. Meanwhile, kind of the entire town has turned against Mildred because of the billboards, but she is just refusing to back down. And from there, things just escalate, and it's wild. It's just wild. I love this movie. I thought it was so great. I know a lot of criticism of this movie has come from the fact that it's very messy and there are a lot of tonal shifts and that characters are inconsistent. I don't feel that the characters are inconsistent. I feel that they kind of are like regular people. There's no clear-cut heroes and villains here. There are people who, our protagonist is a tough, badass woman, who is doing what she thinks is the right thing, but she's going about it in this very destructive way, and also she's made some terrible decisions in her past, and the same could be true of every single character in this movie. They're all very deep, layered characters who have good qualities and bad qualities. The tonal shifts make sense as well, because these are people that are wrapped up in their emotions. They're giving into hatred, they're giving into impulse, they're doing things that maybe they ordinarily wouldn't do, for better or for worse. And so it makes sense. Those tonal shifts make sense. The movie is definitely messy, no doubt about it. But when you've got these kind of characters who are in a lot of morally gray and a lot of questionable situations, it's going to be messy. This is not a movie that you just go into and you watch it and your heart gets warmed and then you leave after everything gets tied up in a neat, nice little package. That's not this movie. This movie is messy. It deals in shades of gray, and that's just the way it is. But to me, I like that because it's actually giving us interesting, realistic characters doing, things that test them as people and test their character. And you don't see that a lot in movies. Even in like complex dramas, you don't see characters as deep and rich as the ones in this. A lot of people didn't like the fact that the Dixon character is very, very racist and very sexist, yet he's kind of played sympathetically at times. But everyone who is a racist is not an irredeemable, horrible human being, and that's kind of what the movie shows, which a lot of people didn't like. It shows that good people can do bad things just as easily as bad people can do good things. And so I think that's just part of being, a human being, is that some parts of you are good, some parts of you are bad. But I guess when some people go to the movies, they don't want to see that. They just want to see good guys versus bad guys, black hats, white hats, and they don't want anything in between. I appreciated how the story kind of is the same way. Like some of the stuff you cheer them on, and other stuff you're like, oh God, why are you doing this? It's a very dark movie. It has a lot of really pitch black humor in it. It also has some very serious, tense, violent bursts. It's just a wild movie. I mean, there's not a lot of other movies like Three Billboards. It's just a really crazy movie. I do think some parts of it drag on. There's a couple of times where it tries to kind of be intellectually deep, and it doesn't really pan out. It's usually with Mildred doing kind of like a monologue that just is a little too rambling. But then again, you know, her character would probably believe that this stuff, you know, is worth saying, so it kind of makes sense. The movie doesn't say you have to believe it or accept it. It just says, here's Mildred saying this stuff. But other than that, I think it's really well written. It has a lot of crazy, dark, hilarious, and disturbing, awkward dialogue. The performances are fantastic all the way across the board. I think everybody was fantastic in this. It doesn't have any sex in it. They're far too busy abusing each other in other ways. It does have a good amount of violence, but it's not gratuitous gore type violence. It's just throwing people out of a window or beating people up, that kind of stuff. I can't recommend this movie enough. It's one of my favorite movies of 2017. I don't know if it's my favorite because I really liked Professor Marston, but this is really good. Definitely, you know, my top 2 or 3 movies of 2017. I loved it. I seriously recommend you check it out. Obviously, if you need like neat and tidy characters and, you know, one-dimensional characters and storylines, you might not like how messy this movie is. But if you like dark, interesting, offbeat movies, Three Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri is fantastic. I did a full write-up of it on my website, markfusion.com. I'm also on Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, all that kind of fun shit. That's it. If you like these videos, please do drop a sub for me. I would greatly appreciate it. It's free, easy, direct. It kind of lets me circumvent all the stupid stuff YouTube does with demonetizing my videos for no reason and stuff like that, because that sub number is a concrete number that I can build off of and use to expand my channel and continue to create this content. So consider it. If not, that's okay too. I understand. Thank you so much for watching this video. I greatly appreciate it. Definitely check this movie out. Highly recommended. Thanks again, guys. Hopefully I'll see you soon.